Hi, everyone. Thank you for joining this month's discussion session about our relationship with the ever so powerful social media. And as most of you know, I'm always pretty active on a lot of different social media platforms. And whether that's just documenting or sharing moments from my life or using it to share my art. However, social media had long been something that I've struggled with. And the way my life has intertwined with the ways I present myself online became something that was constantly on my mind. And one of the biggest revelations that I had after years of reflection and research is one simple word: intentions. Like, why do you intend to do the things you do, be the person that you are, both off and online? And once I figured that out, I realized that my relationship with social media was no longer always full of clouded judgment, conflicted feelings, and negativity. And then not long ago, our class had to watch this TED Talk by Tuckle. She wrote a book called Alone Together. And she talked about how even though we live in a time where we're connected 24/7 through the internet, we still tend to feel lonely and disconnected. On top of the existing struggle of trying to make genuine and meaningful connections online, the pandemic didn't make things any easier because people are spending so much more time on social media because they can't go out and enjoy physical in-person interactions with one another. Upon research, I've found that most people understand the issues that intertwine with social media usage. And then there are a lot of organizations and influencers that have been trying to put effort into building and improving online communities. The solution that Sherry Tuckle kind of summed up in her video and from a lot of the research is for us to recognize the pitfalls of social media and start using social media with thoughtful intentions that contribute to our own well-being as well as our own communities. So this is why I wanted to create a safe space, the Facebook group, for people to get together online and share conversations that are meaningful, important, and relevant to our lives. So why a Facebook group? From research, Facebook has long been the primary leading social media platform that encourages people to create their own groups and connect with like-minded people. And then other social media platforms like Instagram, they don't really have the function of like creating a group where you can create events, posts, comments, etc. And then on another note, an interesting fact is that there has been like a 50% increase in the use of Facebook all over the world since the pandemic. So yeah, that's why I chose to start a small group on Facebook. And then why videos from every one of these discussion sessions is so that some people might not be as comfortable sharing, but they are interested in hearing other people's perspectives on certain topics. So I wanted to create lasting content from these conversations so that more people can hear what different people have to say. And then hopefully maybe they'll even want to join future conversations. So now I'm going to start with our first discussion question. What is your relationship with social media? Like, what do you use it for? How often do you use it? And like, what does social media mean to you? I guess personally for me, like, I separate myself now because I have more public platforms where I share a lot of my like music, art, and stuff.
I only have like Facebook, and then I have Instagram, and then I have Twitter, but I only follow like 10 people. It's mostly just stuff from like high school, and I don't look at it much. But I would say that I'm most active on Instagram. So I'll just speak on that. So Instagram for me, the thing is, I think all of us know that it's not a correct representation of your real life. It's basically like your highlight reel. And a lot of people are prone to comparing other people's highlight reels to their cutting room floor, basically like comparing people's high moments to their like your own low moments and like the mundane everyday things. So I keep that in mind. So for me, my Instagram is just like literally just for fun, just to post like updates on what I'm doing, and then like pictures if I have cute pictures, and that's really it. And I rarely like use my story. What I do a lot of is put my music, like I play violin and a couple of other instruments, and I'll put that on my story just to like remind people that I can do things. Yeah, so I feel like when I hear other people talk about social media, I feel like my perspective on it is a little bit disconnected from what a lot of people think on it. So mine is just like, it's really a game to me, which is potentially toxic, but like that was way less eloquent than I meant it to be. But for me, like Instagram, knowingly, like I go into it knowing that it's not like a mirror. It's more of a like funhouse mirror that you look in, and you like don't take everything super seriously on there. Like don't take it as like the cold hard facts of what somebody's life is like, because chances are they're kind of putting up a front, and like that's okay because like so am I.
Thanks for sharing, Mia. I think a lot of people can resonate with that.
Like I'm similar to Mia too. Like when I use my social media, I'm more using them as a like memory storage like platform, because I'm a short-term memory like person, but sometimes I just like to posting something like meaningful in my life, something that I want to remember, like a special day or birthday, my parents' birthday, something to celebrate. So every time I have a lot of like posts like on my social media before, but you can, there's a privacy lock. You can lock or setting to set a privacy from 6 months, last 3 days, something like that. But I will still keep posting my life and the happy things, but I barely share the sad side of my life. I'm like majority of time only share like happy or positive things, because I don't want my sadness or negativity to impact people around me. Because also my name is Joy. I also named myself Joy because I want to bring people like around me like happiness instead of like bring negativity or bad impacts. So that's also majority of people, they trying to show like good side of their life. I don't know, is a good thing or bad thing, but I'm trying to stay positive. And I think social media for me plays really like a lot of part in my life. No matter like it's in professional life, like I use LinkedIn a lot to build on my connections on networks to trying to find a job, internship, and I use WeChat, Instagram as an entertainment, and I also use them to check on how my friends they're doing and what they're doing. Mia playing bowling, Angel sing a song, had a new song come up, something like that. I can feel their happiness, and I feel like their positivity will definitely impact me to become like who I should be, or what should I do like more towards like life.
Yeah, totally. Thanks for sharing.
Yeah, I think that's like pretty interesting because I tend to, it feels like you guys both share a lot of your life through social media. And I tend to use it a lot more as like a consumer instead of a producer. I definitely use it to like stay up to date with like what my friends are doing. And I actually love it when people post happy things too. I find it like very uplifting and inspiring. I also really like when people post like more vulnerable things too, because it like gets to you sometimes and it's very relatable as well as like inspiring. And then I think the other way that I use it is I tend to use it to follow like other people that I don't know that I find very inspiring too, like just random Insta celebrities or YouTube celebrities. But the reason why I feel like I don't post very much is because I think it feels very scary to me to post, especially in this like day and age of like a lot of judgment. And so usually when I do post, I mainly use stories since it's so temporary and I don't have to worry as much about like who's watching it, like how many likes it has, or like who's gonna like judge this. Whereas I haven't posted an actual post in like over 3 years now, because I'm like, there's too many things to think about, from like what filter you use to what captions and hashtags and whatever. So it's been like a pretty like daunting thing, and I'm just now trying to like slowly go back to social media again.
Okay, so I think it was hard to kind of think about what my pattern has been on social media for a while, but I've recently been reflecting on it, and there are different sides of it. It's one thing is just I I find social media to be a voice for anybody, and like especially in the world we live in, not we all don't have power, but social media feels like a space where we can all have that kind of solidarity. So for me, advocacy point of view, social media just really makes sense. Also, just being the person I am, it's an outlet for myself, and content creation just makes me happy. So to be able to express myself through social media, because of all my friends living so far away and not being able to do that in person, that has all, so these things, like I realized I've been doing them for years, but I didn't really pinpoint that this is why I'm doing it. So it's sort of become another side of my personality. And like I love how Mia mentioned that it's not always a mirror for everyone, but I think I try to make it a mirror for me. And my final project actually has to do with revolutionizing what social media means and trying to make it more of a real space. And that may not be for everyone, but I think that's what I would like it to be. So I'm trying to be the person that I want. I hope that other people can be, maybe.
We have very similar like ideals for how we would like social media to be for people. Hence why I'm doing this for my final project.
I thank you guys so much for sharing all that stuff. That like I had to take some notes here. I was like, ooh, these are good. I think social media, it surprises me because initially I think in itself as a platform is supposed to be something fun, but I like how I think it was Vivian who mentioned like, oh, you have to pick the right filter, like you have to like in certain ways like you have to put in work to have that fun. But then like you don't perceive that as work sometimes, even like it's just like, oh, something creative, something fun. And then about reflection about yourself, I think, yeah, for me, social media, I try to portray as much like, oh, I'm doing well, I'm happy, like look at my friends. Like I can't boast about myself when I'm like talking to others in real life, but like when it comes to social media, like I don't want to like boast about myself. So instead I'll like use like other things, like I'll post pictures of my friends or like post pictures of like my food to like indirectly show like, look, I'm living happy, I'm okay. But then there's days when I'm like feeling really down and sad, and the place where I felt like I was expressing my happiness and where I thought I was seeing everybody else's happiness, for some reason on the days when I'm the most down and sad, like social media is the number one thing I'll avoid because it feels almost more toxic now, like looking at others being so happy and like, look at me. Like, so I think it's a place where I really do a lot of comparison, and it does really affect my like self-esteem in many ways. And so, yeah, it's like a cycle. Like I go there to try to be happy or like to express my happiness. And then sometimes it does lead to more happiness. And sometimes it's like, it makes me feel more empty. Because yeah, it's always comparison. I think comparison's the issue. Oh yes, also I don't know if you guys know, but there's that like archive feature on Instagram. I do this a lot where I think I know how I want to like show myself out to the world in the social media and all that stuff. And then I'm like, wait a second, I don't want to show that. So then I constantly archive and delete my things all the time. I don't know why, but I don't know if any of you guys do this or agree with this. There's just those moments where it's just like, no, never mind, I don't want that on there. Yeah.
It happens to me too. It really depends though. Like for me, my Instagram, I don't have that many followers, but like people like Rini or Angel, they probably have like thousands followers. So I don't know. I'm kind of curious about when you guys post something, are you feel like anxious, like people who you don't know or your followers to see that your personal life? How do you like react on this? But for me, like I only have my close friends or people I know on my Instagram or on my WeChat or my social media account. So I don't know.
I think just like I said, like intentions. When I made the public account with the intention of, okay, here is where I get to be proud and share my art and just be like, here I can act like I'm confident. I can act like it there. I don't know. Like I went through a lot of like, I'm proud of my work, but at the same time, I'm scared. I don't see myself as professional. And then on my personal account, I can like Joy said, I don't think twice when I post something. It is also like documenting moments of my life. I almost use it as like a diary, but also I kind of just post it and I leave everything up. Yeah, that's my mindset and intention using it.
Mia mentioned something about like it being a game. I remember at one point I was like, yeah, let's see how many like random people I can have like follow my account. So I used like all the tactics or whatever, and I didn't think anything would like really cool would come out of it. Like, yeah, the numbers like of followers like did increase, but like that really wasn't, I think, the most meaningful thing I got out of it. I actually ended up making like a genuine friend who even invited me to stay over at her place in Korea, like when I was going there to travel. Like, and I've never met her in my entire life. My parents were like, dangerous, stranger danger. But I was like, no, like we had genuine connection. Like whenever I would post something that was like vaguely anything, like it wasn't even direct about something that I'm stressed about. She was just like, hey, what's going on? And like, we also like shared the same religion, so we'd like pray for each other. It was like the strangest, but like most like intense, like cool friendship I made through social media. So you never know who you're gonna meet. It's just, you have to be extra careful because there's some crazy people out there.
Yes, that is something. Okay, so I kind of want to jump into this next question. Thumbs up or thumbs down? Is social media good or bad for you personally, like mental health wise? 1, 2, 3.
There's also yes or no features for participants.
Right. Did not know that.
But there's no maybe or so.
So it's like the thumbs up.
Yeah, I asked this because I think, as everyone has shared, like it's kind of a personal preference thing. You definitely, like I've definitely had conversations with my introverted friends who are like, I don't have a problem with you doing that, but I just don't want to do it, which is completely understandable because not everyone's comfortable sharing everything. And so I think the point, it's not to force everyone to be active and like that constant on social media, but it's to create this environment where it's okay to post about good things, but then like I think just as long as everything, what your intentions are on social media are real, like it's not too somebody take this somewhere.
It's probably also a generational thing because we've lived a life without social media. So for us, it's easy to separate virtual identities and who we are in real life. But when you think about kids who kind of grow up with this, I think I'm a little more worried for them as to how they separate these two parts of their life. It's interesting to see like how our minds work as this is something new. What do we want to do with it? This is a door, and how much can we put in through this door? But like there's no wall for kids. They're just on it. And it's like a social norm nowadays. And I think when you talk about what social media should be, it should just having that self-awareness and being who you want to be and being acceptive of other people. And also, you know, making sure that there's no hate speech and all that bad stuff on social media.
Can you share that research that you did on like how they are less, like more private and like the individual thingy?
Okay. Oh yeah. So as millennials, we tend to share a lot, but Gen Z has learned from our mistakes of oversharing, and now they try to use more private platforms like Snapchat and Instagram DMs, close friend stories, and they sort of use social media for entertainment now, as you can tell with the whole TikTok generation. So for them, social media has transformed its meaning because of us and what we've done with it. It's interesting to see, like, talk about what we're gonna do, but then it's a whole other story with kids.
I don't know if everyone knows Finstas are like, is it fake? Just like more it's a more private Instagram where people actually post whatever and non-filtered, very maybe personal stuff.
Is it an app? Because it's my first time.
No, so it's also Instagram, but you make a different account where it's for like only your closest friends. And yeah, it's basically a second Instagram account, but it's super private. And then like you won't care about your feed. Most people just post the most random like, I had a burger today. I don't know. It's very, Vivian's like, wouldn't that be the real Instagram? That's why I was like, does Finsta mean like fake Insta? But that doesn't make sense because it seems more real than actual ones.
It's fake because you don't want people to know it's you.
It's you. Yeah. That's true.
But it's like people have 3 different accounts now. You have your normal one, and then you have a public version of yourself, and then you have a private version of yourself. Because the public one is where I think as a generation, we started to embrace side hustles and like our passions. This is the place where you can kind of express. If you're good at photography, you show that off. If you're good at art, you show that off. So I like that that's come out of it, because we don't have a space to do that anymore. Not everybody's in school. People who are working have their own side passions, right?
It kind of makes me think of like catfishing. You know how certain people make like a fake persona out there? I just feel like maybe, in a way though, maybe you do want to portray yourself in a different way. Like maybe you've been raised in a certain way that you really can't express how you really are. And maybe that Finsta will be that one true like version of yourself you want to portray. Who knows? Maybe it could be healthy in that way, but it would be very unhealthy, yes, if you're catfishing with it. You're taking up somebody else's personality, or like, you know, doing something bad with it. But I think it's like, it's what you make out of it. You can make it good or bad. And so when you ask the question of, do you think, you know, social media is like inherently like a good thing or a bad thing? It's really up to the individual, I think. And as a society, sometimes we do need to kind of take a break and kind of see like what impact it does have overall. But I think you have a choice of how you can use social media to impact yourself too. So it can be good, it can be bad.
I kind of want to use this to kind of lead into the last one, which is like, with everything that we've talked so far, what do you think about that Facebook group? And I think my ultimate goal is not just for this group to succeed, but also for people to want to create these groups moving forward, recognizing that social media can be a real, genuine platform for people to open up and share and learn from each other.
While you're on that, why don't you tell us a little more about this attempt of yours, like bringing people together who don't necessarily know each other, but like the idea to open up, how would that work?
How this would work really is up to the people. So I'm hoping that from starting small, the people that are in this group, like even if they don't actively share stuff, I think when they read these, they can be, because not everyone has friends like me who is like so freaking loud on social media saying whatever I want. And this might be new to some people, like, oh, you can actually do that on social media. And so I think I am very blessed to have friends who also like to share their perspectives and are open-minded and respectful of our differences. So I think starting these conversations, just the starting it and hoping that people would look and maybe even join in on these conversations is my how I would like this to work. And then moving forward, I hope that from participating in these conversations, you guys would feel validated and empowered to start sharing either your vulnerability or just whatever that you would like to share on social media. There was this other TED Talk that I watched, this artist, he talked about externalizing the internal. And that's how we feel less alone, because we all feel some things, like we're all human, we all have emotions, and a lot of these emotions can resonate with other people. Like even if our experiences are completely different, we might have the same emotions. And so when you can talk to someone else, or someone else tells you like, hey, I relate, like that alone can make you feel less alone. That alone make you feel less alone. Yeah, that action in itself can make someone else feel less alone, like even without you realizing it, I think.
So I feel like in today's world, people like especially when we get in graduate school or getting to workplace, and then we have less time to contacting our friends around, not every like single one. So I feel like posting something on social media, and then when I see my friends, they hit a like or commented, and okay, I know you're good. Just like kind of checking with each other. That's a really like warm moment that I appreciate, because we don't really have time, like bunch of time to check with each other, or sometimes we forgot about, like because busy at work or something. Just like what I post on my WeChat that I mainly used for my friends from China and then for my families. So when I post something, even though I don't get a time to Skype with them, but they know, okay, Joy is doing great, or they just hit a like, no, oh, I reviewed. So it's kind of like interaction between people and among people. So I just feel like that's a really good features. We should keep it going. And also sometimes when I post something, I'm too lazy to edit, like created content. I don't like Rini or Angel, they always post some really nice content, but I feel really powerful when after I read those like words or video content. But for me, I just like post the like emoji or pictures. I'm too lazy because I don't know what to post. So hopefully after this conversation, I will think about my content seriously, trying to bring my like some more happiness or share some of my insights to people around me. Hopefully.
By all means, you don't have to. There's no pressure. But if you want to, like, this is really just more like, if you want to, do it. Like, don't feel pressured to do, like, either.
I don't know, like, if I should share, because Mandarin is my first language. So I sometimes prefer, like, speaking Mandarin, but I also want to, like, all of my friends who speak English to get to know what I'm saying. So I don't know, I'm just hesitating. Okay, which language I should use to post?
Do both.
Okay, both.
I mean, I think the point Joy brought up is amazing, because that's what social media was started for, right? To connect people. And do you guys remember Orkut? Like before Facebook, MySpace, Orkut, it started with this, oh, am I old? It's like, we started, I think, chatting, and the whole posting thing came a little later. And having an audience is what makes it scary, and why there's this stigma of what needs to be posted and how it needs to be posted. But at the end of the day, like Joy said, that like is like, oh, you exist, you remember me, cool. And I love like the new Facebook reaction, the care reaction. It's very relevant now, the hugs. You're hugging your microphone. But yeah, I think it all just goes back to connecting with people, and that's what social media is for. So the whole idea of you doing this to bring us back to social media and integrate these feelings there, it's a noble effort.
I think that this group works because of the premise that, like, I feel like, you know how my parents always said this, like, you know who somebody is by looking at the friends around them. And I feel like the premise is that, like, Angel and her surrounding friends, like, I don't know you guys, I just met you guys today, but I feel comfortable about sharing this because knowing Angel and, like, knowing who she is, I know that the people around her is also going to be, like, good people, right? So in that essence, like, this platform, like, the mini group that I made, I think that Angel made, I know that this, like, an extract of, like, the good people that I can talk to and feel okay and comfortable talking with. And maybe I don't have to say something in a perfect way and I have to package it in a certain way because it's not really that full public, like, looking at it in a way. I also think whenever you post something on social media, yeah, it's not a formal classroom. It's not an actual, like, public speech that I have to make because I hate doing that. But like, I feel like, yeah, I feel validated by people that I think I feel comfortable, like, with immediately, even though I don't know you fully well yet.
Yeah, I also think this group is really cool because I think one of the ways that when you're, like, in person with people that you end up making more friends or expanding your social circle is through, like, mutual friends, right? Because you end up going to events that they invite you to and you meet their other friends. And so this is almost like Angel's way of introducing people and making people have mutual friends now.
Thank you, Andrew.
Oh,
To
I'm gonna
bring us
cry,
together.
yo. Like I said, I feel very blessed. I don't think it's a given that you will only run into good people, but I think I've definitely been blessed to have met so many good people that are all different too. Like, I don't just stick to only people that I'm similar to. I do love meeting like different people because I think you can learn much more from people with different walks of life. So I've learned so much from all of you.
What I felt is like interesting listening to everyone talk is the sort of idea of thinking about maybe sharing too much, being concerned with like who sees it. And what's funny to me is I think that that's like not at all a concern for me. I guess my perspective is a bit different on that, in that. And I'll have to admit that I think my circle of friends isn't as diverse and well-rounded as Angel's is. Like, pretty much, I think 95% of the people I know are in the theater or film industry, and we're all like, "Look at me! Like me! This is my account. This is what I'm doing." And we're all like very used to being like on camera and like on all the time, and I think that affects our use of social media. And I guess my profession literally is like being watched, and I think that that translates to what I do like on Instagram. It's, I will admit that like what I posted is I do think about like who is my like audience and what do they want, and that also might be like a little bit of the advertisement major in me coming out, because we spent so much time in school learning about like how to reach people, how to give them the message they want, how to get them to like interact and whatnot. So I think for me, I think that people vote for the content they want with their likes, right? If you see something that you especially like, you're gonna like give it a like or like a heart on Facebook. And I feel like the reason why it took a while for me to, I mean, I still am not entirely comfortable like posting a lot, and that's because I feel like I shouldn't take up people's time if I don't have to. I feel like, you know, I'll take it up if I feel like it's something interesting that they probably want to know or see. But other than that, I'm like, okay, well, if they're gonna give 2 seconds of their day to look at something that I posted, like no matter what it is, I want to make it something that they are more inclined to like appreciate or like. So that influences like what I decide to post. And then also, Rini, what you said, what is that? You were Joy. Somebody, and I think multiple people said a lot of things about like, what do you do for the caption? And like, I have the same thing too. Sometimes I'll just put like 3 emojis and I'm like, done. It's done. It's like I can write all this other stuff, but once it comes to Instagram captions, I'm like, I don't care. The picture is what I want. Boom. But yeah, all of that in a sort of roundabout way is saying like there is at least a corner of social media where people are not at all concerned about like other people seeing what they post. In fact, it's actually kind of like a nice little like stage, or a little, it's like your own like little channel of things that are that like you curate, and it's kind of nice whenever somebody you don't know like comes in and yeah like that. Exactly what you said in the comments. Yeah, that's why I just wanted to point out that it's like been really interesting to hear what y'all are saying about like being mindful of who sees your things, and I just hope that my perspective is a nice I just don't know words today.
Addition. Yeah. No, it is. It is.
A nice addition to our collage of thoughts.
Ooh, see, you said you didn't have a way with words. That was beautiful. A collage of
wow.
I also just wanted to give, I was typing it, I'll type it and say it, Esther Kim, a shout out for like just starting a conversation on Facebook. When you were talking about friends that you make, I was thinking, well, yeah, because what happened on the group that you created, and you just said anybody can post about anything, and she just started, and it really opened up people's minds. And even if you're not sharing, taking in content is still opening your eyes to something new.
So in our Facebook group Alone Together, which anyone is welcome to join, And I posted in the group saying, hey, like if anyone wants to share anything, please feel free to. And one of my friends, Esther Kim, she actually opened up and shared a whole bunch about her life, about issues that she's dealing with and feelings that she's been having. And then people started commenting, and then also other posts. And another friend, Zoe, she offered herself as a resource. And I think this is an amazing example of how like these conversations can be so helpful. Like when you open up about something, someone else can be of help that you don't even know of. So yeah, I'm really grateful that that happened too. It was very beautiful to see.
Hey, last time you had a question for closing remarks. You had like tips for happiness. What's your prompt?
Any ideas?
Or like most uplifting account to follow.
Most uplifting account to follow. And maybe
or just a suggestion, like a recommendation.
Yeah. An account that we personally love and follow, that we find inspiring, and also maybe one thing that you took away from, like the biggest thing you took away from this conversation today. The account one I'll get back to, but I think my biggest takeaway is just, I think in the past I've been hesitant sometimes to bring up this conversation because I hear a lot of the negatives regarding social media. Like there is definitely research statistics that prove that social media can be a toxic place. But I think that's why I used to be kind of hesitant, like, oh, but for me it's good, and I wish it could do more good, you know? And I didn't know how to say that. And now, like as I meet more people, hear more perspectives, and from doing the research for this project, I think I'm definitely I feel more confident in saying that social media can be a good platform for people to connect. Obviously, from this pandemic, we see how important it is for people to connect virtually and how it can be a real space for people to do that. And so I am very grateful for all of you for sharing your perspectives. And I think that will really help me moving forward and what I want to do continuing on this. Even though it's for my final project, I really do want to continue this monthly discussion, the group and everything moving forward.
I'm trying to find the account. I can't find the account name. I can't remember his name. Anyway, there's this guy who posts like the funniest content like every time. His editing is just like off the charts. It's so funny. It makes me laugh every single time. So whenever I get like really like just sad, I like go to his account and like rewatch all his videos. And then there's also this really cute dentist in New York. And I follow his account, also very healing for, you know, everything, eyes, mind, you know, but wait, so what's the last question? What did I learn?
Yeah.
What I learned is we all really use social media in different ways, but at the end of the day, I think we like to use it to share like happy things, good things about our life. And I think I'm just really excited to get to know more of you guys and potentially see like what else you guys share out in your life. And I feel really more encouraged to be more active on social media in a way. Like I've always been kind of scared of who's like looking at my stuff, even though everything's public. But I think I feel much more encouraged to just be more like genuine and like share what I really do want to share. And so I really appreciate that you guys were able to like share your perspectives on your usage of social media and your way of expressing yourself. I'm gonna go find that cute New York dentist for you guys.
But yeah, let us know what that handle is.
I'll find him.
I think the biggest takeaway from today's our conversation is I realized how important the content creation is. I pay much more attention on like and how the social media's content can impact people around us. And I really appreciate like Angel, you post some note, like a post with one picture and a long, not really long, like one paragraphs about like your self-reflections and your insights. To be honest, I feel pretty empowered and encouraged by your post. And thanks a lot on sharing that. And maybe like do some more like video shot, because I barely like recording myself like video like Rainy. That's how I really want to try to push myself into like jump out of my comfort zone to speak in front of like the video and to share some of my real thoughts, because sometimes the pictures that we share is not really real. I don't know how to say that, but sometimes, you know, we added the pictures filter or make ourselves look thinner, but that's how I don't want to see like the social media looks like. So this takeaway, today's takeaway, I feel like I'm more encouraged to be more see our posts or see myself post more authentic and trying to be more approachable to our friends around me. Yeah. Oh, and one account. I don't have one really funny account, uplifting account to share, but follow my account.
Yeah, actually follow each other.
We can follow each other. Yeah.
My main takeaway from this is that, like, truly everybody uses social media in a very different way. And yeah, just keep that in mind while you're like all scrolling through. And I think that you can not only learn more about people by what they post, but how they interact with social media. I think that tells a lot about them. And that's something I learned from, you know, seeing how everybody is here and how you all talk about like how you use social media. So I think that I'll be looking into that and taking that more into account as I get to know people via social media. And I don't really follow many accounts that are not just people, but one of my favorite ones to go look at is this bakery in New York City. It's called Supermoon Bakehouse, and it makes the most amazing croissants. It's Instagram, like they have the same format for every picture. They like chop it perfectly in half, and you can see like the inside, the colorful inside of the croissant. It's amazing. It's very satisfying to look at, and it'll make you hungry.
Oh, it's my turn. I think I wanted to start it with a little bit of what Angel said, because I resonate with the idea of being open enough to talk about something like this, because I tend to have my opinion and then kind of shut everything out sometimes because I'm like, no, everything is okay. The world is fine. But also just, I think, take away from this conversation, like Mia said, the opposite side of it, being mindful of everyone being subjective to what social media means to them. It's like Joy said, it's how much time you can invest in it, how comfortable you're with it, where you are in your life, and how much you can express to someone. Like, not everybody has the same privilege to be whoever they want to be. Maybe their family's on social media. So I think just understanding that people are who they are, but being accepting, that's not a word, accepting. Please edit that out. Accepting that there are all kinds of people. I know this is the takeaway for everyone, but I just wanted to echo that thought. Account is Autumn Rain. She's awesome, and I'm putting it in there.
I would say the main takeaway is also that, like, it's cool to see that everybody holds social media so differently in their heads with the way that we post, the way that we think about it. And I think the thing that is really nice to learn from this and to keep in mind is that, like, it feels like we all said that we really enjoy seeing our friends post about random things in their lives. And so that helps me encourage to post, and hopefully that'll help encourage other people to share more of their lives. An account that I really like, I'll type this in too, but Hello Hilltop is one of my friends who's doing this like old house restoration, where she's been documenting this process over the course of like the last year or so. And she also shares a lot of like house and gardening tips too. It's very cool to see and very real. And she tries to do it in a very eco-friendly way too. But is also very realistic about like when you can't be sustainable and eco-friendly in this process too. Yeah. And then a celebrity I really like is Justin Baldoni, the producer and actor. I think he uses his social media so well. It's super inspiring to see.
Yo, I was gonna say him.
Really? Yeah.
Yes, because
I love him.
I actually included him in my research because he was doing these daily Instagram lives with like inviting his fans to like be on the live with him. He's just always so genuine on social media platforms, and that really inspires me. So yes, that was mine too. So Ashley had been listening in. She's one of our friends from the program too, so I'm going to read her reflection. She said, it's pretty interesting, surprising that people have so many different uses, perspectives, and feelings for social media. My takeaway is you can use it however you like, as long as you're not hurting anyone. So thanks everyone for this. And also she wanted to share her favorite account for a laugh is at sarcasm only. Okay, thank you all for coming to this conversation. I learned so much, and I will definitely do another one of these next month. Thanks again for joining. Everyone wave to the camera. Bye.